Okay, so this archetype got a number of cards in Horizons, the most important of which was Soulherder here. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, this gets a counter. Beginning of your end step, you may exile another creature and then return it to play. We got Restoration Angel here. We've got Collected Company kind of tying the room together. We've got Ephemerate from the Strixhaven Archives, and then we've got lots of things to blink for value. We've got Wall of Blossoms, Spellbinder, Bugler, Skyclave Apparition. We've got some Glasspool Mimics and some Skyclave Clerics that allow us to kind of cheat our land count up to 28 virtual lands while also having plenty of hits for Bugler and Collected Company. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this one and see how it goes. Well, you know, there was that quote from the Mississippi governor, was it, that said people in the South aren't afraid of COVID because they believe in eternal life. So many of those people will be meeting a Soulherder soon, I would wager. Yeah, this is fine, right? We have turn land on 1, turn 2 play, turn 3 play. Conservatism in the United States is literally a death cult at this point. Just literally a death cult. There's really no other way to slice it. Half your wedding list refused to get vaccinated. Sounds like your wedding just got 50% smaller. Easy clap. See, I had this really weird phenomenon. I think we're taking the Croxa here. I had this really weird phenomenon where I cut all the Trumpers out of my life in 2018, and I haven't had a single anti-vax person in my life through all of this. Because there's a strong correlation between those two groups. We're going to lose our Coco here, which is sad, but... It reminds me of the parable about the religious man who is drowning and refuses help because God would save him. And when he died, he asked God why he didn't save him. And God says, I sent you all those people and you didn't accept their help. Yep. Well, I've talked about that before, right? Like, I'm not a particularly religious person at this point in my life. But if I was a religious person, I think I would probably draw a parallel between the fact that, you know, we had this less lethal, less transmittable version of COVID that happened first, which gave us time to prepare this vaccine. And now Delta's happened, and it's almost like a higher power gave us a chance to help ourselves, and we were just like, nah, fuck that noise. Well, many people, not all of us, but many people were just like, nah, I'm good. Great. Oh, that got rid of their... That's kind of funny. It got rid of their delirium. Yes, correct, Sunpetal. Well... Okay, we'll gain a little bit of life. We'll play a tapped land. We'll get to draw another card with this. I think we just pay the 3 here. It's close though, because these Dragon Rage Chandlers are about to fly again. We really need to hit a live draw here. Just had nothing but bricks here for the last little bit. That's a pretty good one. The borderless wall is a Glasspool Mimic. Hey chat, check this out. Moments before the accident. Speaking of the Glasspool Mimic, this is why Mimic's gas in this deck. So let me blink this, copy Restoration Angel. So I based this list off of one that went 4-2 in the open this past weekend, and the list in the open wasn't playing Resto, wasn't playing Glasspool Mimic, which was a huge punt, in my opinion. Now, the problem here is I just continue to not draw spells, and there's a Kroxa in their graveyard. Yeah, hopefully FDA approval will start making more places make it mandatory. Our governor here in Illinois instituted a vaccine mandate for healthcare workers and teachers, which is a good start. All right, so we're dead to a removal spell here. But otherwise, we're a little bit stable with the Skyclave Apparition top deck. These have to attack at least, so we get to eat it. Oh, wow. It didn't have to attack because they pulled the creature out of their bin. That's sick. All right, I'm going to do this now because we can find a Soulherder. I need to just start gaining life, right? So I'm definitely taking Skyclave. Do I want a random card or do I want an Innkeeper? It's so close. I think I want a card. And I think I actually take Chandler since I'm not gaining a life here. Because I don't have anything else to get back with Loris anyways. My body is ready for them to top deck Kroxa and kill me. I've had one Soulherder in 30 cards. They draw a removal spell. Am I dead? Am I dead, Jet? Hey, collectibles. Thanks for the 7 months. Okay, now they recast Chandler and then I'm dead on board. Or they can draw Kroxa, sure. rough. Almost stabilized that. Well, just for reference, Luna Hero, against the average Jeskai deck, you would not beat them because they can just loop. They can loop what's it called out of there. Teferi tucks himself over and over and over again. So you wouldn't have decked them in paper. But in general, I think the life gain deck's fine. I think it's a little tedious to click through on Arena, but you know, that's part of Magic being Magic and being adapted to the digital space, just comes with the territory. I'll trim the Charming Princes and bring in a couple of Deccan Stones, click submit. Oh, it's against a Reanimator deck? Sure. Yeah, you have to just accept that, you just have to accept that that's part of play in the game if you want to play it. That's why decks like Malira Company are never particularly popular on Magic Online, because they're a little tedious to click through and they're not deterministic in a lot of spots they would be otherwise. So we can Soulherder next turn with Ephemerate up, which is kind of sweet. Did new humans help that archetype become playable? Yeah, there's a black-white humans deck up on my YouTube channel from last week. I think it's very reasonable. Sag. Is Book of Exalted Deeds supposed to be unbanned in Standard 22? It's not. Just Magic Arena things. I must have forgotten to fix that when they fixed, what's it called? Feels bad, man. Get some blockers down here. Definitely Apparition. Our 2/3s hold the board for a little bit here, hopefully. Out of the people still discussing politics in chat, I'd just like to ask that you take it to a DM or the politics channel in the Discord server. No problem. Never feel bad about talking about those specific topics, but it's just a good point to move on a little bit. Okay, that was a good top deck. An opponent's gaining priority here, but it's probably just because of the Beaumont Courier. Thanks for the follows, CNC King and Kirazunin. Good morning. Our wonderful triggers, chat. Find me a friend, Militia Bugler. Look at that. My Soulherder drew me another Soulherder. Now we're cooking with gas. Cruxus coming back, which is scary. Do you have a political space in the Discord? Yeah, there's a politics channel under special interest. There's also a COVID-19 channel under special interest for COVID-related stuff. They have a land for the Croxa. Would adding Yorion be excessive? I don't know. I don't know that playing Yorion and playing Collected Company in the same deck is necessarily conducive to... being successful. Hey, Ganny. Thanks for playing and congrats on your finish. I'm glad you enjoyed it. These new digital-only designs are such high variance. Oh, wait. This is a card from 3 years ago? Weird. Thanks for the 14-month swimmer. Yeah, it felt like we just got pretty thoroughly dismantled here. It didn't really feel like we were meaningfully in this game at any point. Wouldn't the Seek Changeling always get a creature? Yeah, but it gets a specific creature type, right? So I have to look at the deck to see which of our creatures it's drawing and if that's worthwhile. Yeah, the person suggesting we get rid of Containment Priest. Containment Priest is there for the creativity decks, where your Soulherders are very bad. Your Soulherders aren't particularly good against control. I'm actually not convinced. So there's been a green-white Ephemerate deck up on my website for a while that I'm excited to try with Resto and Thragtusk at some point. I'm actually not sure that Soulherder is worth playing in this style of deck. Not only does it make your mana base a little bit less consistent, but it's just like a card that doesn't do anything on its own. It's a tough sell, and if you have all these other cards, like, it's just very clunky at 3 mana. Okay, yeah, Priest shuts off your Collected Companies, but if you have Priest in play, you can just not play your Collected Company, Lambton. Because if you have the Priest out, they're not comboing you and you're winning. So they're going to have to take the Priest off the table. And then when they take it off the table, your company's unlocked. Fragile's the wrong word. Individually weak cards that are depending on synergy, I think would be an accurate depiction of what this deck is doing. I'm not sure if... I'm interested to see how it plays out. Had an okay finish yesterday. Actually don't want to block that one because it gives them Delirium for this. Sure, but you would still want to know, like, what it's getting on average to understand if it's worth playing Windmagus. Would be my TLDR. I'm gonna block one with Spirit because I was talking and clicking at the same time. This game is over and we're dead. All right, I'm going to call out Twitch chat here because Twitch chat deserves to be called out. Peak Twitch chat is mana-based deck constructor where we talk about a 4-color deck and then we splash for triple red cards. It's just a light splash for Goblin Shade Whirler, chat. A light splash for the Goblin Shade Whirler. Even Seasoned Pyromancer, like, isn't really a splash. I guess if you're like collected companying into it, you're technically not casting it, but like, still. Oh, it's only, you're only, okay, Whirler Virtuoso, sure. I don't know that those cards sound strong enough to splash. But that's better than splashing a triple red. To set a low bar, your task is not as foolhardy as I first thought. I don't know that I'd call the Citadel deck a premier collected company deck. Deck hasn't really put up any results anywhere. Alright, I'm gonna try and hit a land drop here. Yeah, the fact that Ephemerate is basically 1 mana counter target removal spell gives it a lot of value and flexibility that that what's it called just doesn't have, Soulherder. Yeah, but they're not like splashing for Archmage's Charm. Theoretically, 3 shots at a land next turn. Draw step, rebound on this, cast this. Would everybody at home believe that I added 2 lands to the original deck list that I started with for this? Okay. Still no white mana, but at least we can collect a company down the line. They were Glasspool Mimic, yeah. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. How does perpetually work with adventure cards? Yeah, it would affect both sides depending on what it's doing. So if it's like perpetually making the card cost 1 more mana, yeah, both sides would cost 1 more mana. I'll bring in some Thalias and a couple of Negates. Click submit. What do you think the opening hand algorithm does that you think it's throwing things off, Zero Gamer? Can you explain? 'Cause I don't think you understand what it does if you think it's throwing things off. Sounds great. No, because you're not casting the land tap dynasty, you're playing a land. Playing a land and casting a spell are different actions. Yeah, Silent. Someone in chat was conspiracy theoring that the issues that they had, the issues that have been caused lately might be having that happen in best of 3, but that's pure speculation. So, like, your speculation comes with a side of speculation, so I just ask you to please stop. Don't spread baseless rumors about stupid things. Please stop. Well, I'll get rid of that one, I guess. Chat, nice basic planes. Y'all don't understand my opponent's about to untap and play a blue source. See, I've played this game before. A good deal. There's a blue source on top of their deck 100% of the time. Wow. Wow, they're actually unlucky. It's nice. I like when they're unlucky. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack with the Spellbinder. This is why we did this in response.
Let me know if you're up for round.
How much does it cost per set to unlock 90%? About 150 bucks. About 150 packs get you a playset of everything but mythics. Hey, thanks for the prime min-maxed. And this is memory lapse then? Ooh, it's not a memory lapse, chat. It's exciting. It's exciting. Now, unfortunately, this is a Glasspool Mimic, so I don't get to take this other Teferi out of their hand, but I do get to save this at least now. And then next turn, I can Resto the Mimic, copy the Resto, blink the wall. Resto resetting Mimic's been sweet. Had that interaction a couple of times now. $500 a week on other games. Would you say you've been gotten? Yeah, it's gotta be a gotcha game, right? I'm gonna do this now while they're tapped out. I mean, chat, there's a lot more gacha games out there than just Raid and Genshin Impact. It's a very popular genre because it's incredibly profitable. Yeah, Resto is in Jumpstart Historic Horizons. And I've played all of them. Actually in a pretty okay spot here. Ooh, that puts us in an even better spot. I just died on turn 2 to Minion of the Mighty. You just made someone's day, Pythrion, just so you know. Hey, look, they even shocked themselves, so we have lethal in play now. I just had lethal in play with the Lair of the Hydras either way. What was the command? Was untapped not the command? Oh, overlay. Got it. Get those linked up. For the following, Andrew. Welcome to the channel this morning. BT dubs, people have been asking if you missed any of the Hoglandia open. Oh, I do have Ceratops in my board. You're right. Yeah, those should be in my deck. Those asking about the Hoglandia open from yesterday, if you missed any of it, the coverage is all up on the YouTube channel, so you can browse that at your leisure. Okay. Cleric on 1, Wall on 2, Herder on 3. Get some value going. He says before getting Memory Lapse and Doomblade and Archmage Charmed into Oblivion. I think I'd rather have a cycle than a 1-3 that gains 2 in this matchup, so we'll hold this to potentially be a spell for now. Amazonia was great. She's very obviously a professional, and it showed well yesterday. She has a lot of experience casting. Now, to those in chat discussing people's fun money, some people have more income to spend than others. Let them spew how they want to spew. I think this is a land. Save this to be a spell. Wait, was I just summoned? What's going on, Bob? To go ahead and draw a card with this here. Hey, Juka, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. I'm actually one of them fancy big-time streamers. Big-time streamers. So I actually get 70%, so thanks for the tree fitty. Shark Typhoon, chat. Shark Typhoon. Can I attack into a Shark Typhoon? I feel like I can't. I guess if I attack into a Shark Typhoon and they cycle to kill my thing, I get to cast this and then they can't use that, so YOLO. Pimmeltroff and Moby Dixon, thanks for the follows. What's the floor to getting a higher percentage from the overlords? It depends on a few different factors. I've also been getting 70% for a long time, so like I don't know if the metrics have changed since the 4 or 5 years since I've been getting it. 3 or 4 years, I forget exactly. Glasspool Mimic, select something to copy. Ooh, I can copy this. And then this can save my Thalia. Cute. Tome of the Infinite. Swords to Plowshares, Light of Hope, Ponder, Force Spike, Dark Ritual, Duress, Lightning Bolt, Assault Strobe, Giant Growth, or Fog. Dealer's, I would say dealer's choice, but that's just not true. You get a random one. Deterministically not dealer's choice. Actually, Weens being a Twitch partner doesn't automatically get you 70%. The requirements for partner are much, much lower than what it was to get the 70% upgrade back when I got it. And obviously, again, like I said, that could be different today, but I would be surprised if they lowered that requirement. VR Bob, speaking of people spewing, thanks for spewing a tier 3 my way. I appreciate the 4 years of incredible support. Welcome back. Stellar Joe, thanks for the brand new tier 1. Welcome to the channel. Get that one out of here. So I'm gonna do this to start and copy this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attack with both of these. And then I'm going to go ahead and blink this. Copy this. Exile this. Charming Prince is very silly in this deck, chat. Well, these are both mimics at this point. That's fine though, right? And I think I actually want to blink these. Now let's turn off auto ordered so these come back in the right order next turn, so that way they can't sweep all my creatures next turn if they have a sweeper. So for the people asking about Yorion, playing Yorion in a deck like this makes it so your collected companies are worse. Is a big part of why I'm not playing it. Because it means you're skewing your deck to make collected company functional, but then you're drawing your collected companies less frequently. We're playing Restoration Angel. So Restoration Angel doesn't make me draw collected company less frequently. Restoration Angel makes it so my collected companies, when I draw them, hit slightly less often, which is different. So making my deck 80 cards means I've skewed my deck. Oh, main board Yorion. Yeah, Resto's just a better card than Yorion. The flash gives you a lot of utility. It's also cheaper. Sorry, I missed the main board part of that question. No, I think Restoration Angel's much better. Also, like, Glasspool Mimic's copying Resto is something we've done a bunch. Definitely Stellar Joe. Pass priority. Are you dead? Okay, so now they try to plow this one, and then I ephemerate this one to blink this one. Well, Glorious Protector instead of Resto. Well, Glorious Protector is a trash garbage card that nobody's ever played, and Restoration Angel is great. Glorious Protector not putting the card back into play right away is very bad. Restoration Angel immediately returns the thing to play that you got with it, which is a big deal. Glasspool Mimic, copy something. Copy this one. And I'm going to exile a Charming Prince with this, so this way if they sweep the board, I have a 2/2 left over. Yeah, we got Resto with Historic Horizons, Bob, last week. Oh my god, are they gonna Assault Strobe and then Lightning Bolt us? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't do it. Whew. Whew. The double strike came down, and all of a sudden I had to say a short prayer to RN Jesus. Alright. Isn't Bolt banned? Yeah, the Spell Tome generated a Bolt, Bob. Yeah, it could have been Strobe plus Giant Growth, too. Hashtag sometimes lucky. I kind of want a 4th Glasspool Mimic in this deck. Mimic's been kind of absurd. Just like every time we've drawn it, it's felt busted. What do I cut, though? How many white sources do we have? We have 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to trim a Cleric for a Mimic. This has been pretty poopy, and this has been really good. How the Bugler's been? Mediocre? Passable, maybe? How has variety been for me? It's been fun because I like playing variety games, but in terms of doing content, it's like a death knell. My variety content gets like 30 to 40% the viewership of the main Magic game that I stream. That's just expected. I'm not playing Psychonauts 2 to make money. I'm playing Psychonauts 2 because it sounds like a fun game that I would like to play a little bit of. If I'm gonna play it anyways, I might as well stream it. About Teleportation Circle. Teleportation Circle's an individually weak card that doesn't get hit by Collected Company. So the number of cards that you can play in a Collected Company deck that don't get hit by this is very minimal because you're giving up consistency every time you do that. And these effects are much more powerful than something like Teleportation Circle. you're not fully monetizing your enjoyment, are you really enjoying yourself? Ah, capitalism. Ah, capitalism. This card is so good, chat. I missed this one during spoiler season, and it's just so strong. The O3 just like preventing you from getting in there is just the real deal. Well, that's not great. Although I will say we're gonna get to run back the resto trick, which is we'll get to blink this Glasspool Mimic, copy resto, blink the wall. So this is basically like companying into a Restoration Angel for later, which is kind of gas. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this now while my opponent's tapped out. My opponent has creativity. We are basically just dead. Is what it is. Midnight Hunt spoilers are supposed to start on the 2nd, I believe, which is Thursday. So, opponent's deck is the best deck in the format by a healthy margin, I think. It's what won the Open this past weekend. They now have protection from creatures. My main deck has no way to interact with this, so I'm going to concede. Right? 0 ways to interact with that. So we'll board in some Thalias and some Containment Priests and some Giant Killers and some Deccan Stones and some Negates. We're going to go ahead and trim Militia Bugler and Skyclave Apparition. Honestly, probably trim some Cocos. Soulherder doesn't seem very good either. If I cut these, it's only 23 company hits, so it's probably not good. Could probably just bring in the Ceratops. Like, leaving a Bugler. There's a good chance that being in collected company is not what this archetype wants to be doing either, because there's so many, like here too, right? Like where there's these cards we want to bring it out of the sideboard for the postboard game, so we have to give up companies. We've like warped our deck to like have this card, and then we still have to give it up in these spots. We're definitely going to try more Restoration Angel decks on stream this week. I want to try a straight green-white without company, and that could probably be a Yorion build, because if you're not playing company, the downside to playing Yorion as your companion is much lower. This is probably a land in the dark. We get a little punished if we flood out from here, but having at least 4 lands rolled up is good, I think. I'm playing Timeless Witness and Memory Lapse to lock people out with Soulherder. You're a monster. Man, what did the arena ladder ever do to you? That's who hurt you? What was their name? I think Blade Splicer could be good enough in a green-white version. If you go on my website and click Historic Decks, in the high potential section, you will find a draft of the straight green-white version. So, getting punished for playing the Glasspool Mimic out. Maybe I'm not supposed to play it on 1. It's not terrible. I'm just casting this now so we don't get memory lapsed. If they go Dwarven Mine, do the thing next turn, we can Deccan Stone it, so that's fine. So I think it's worth just getting this into play while they're tapped out. I haven't played against the new Trickery deck yet, but it's definitely on my list to play this week because it looks hilarious. Anonymous, thanks for re-upping that Prime support. I appreciate the third of a year. Welcome back. What's the new Trickery deck? So there's the new Cascade Retrace card, and you put Trickery as the only card it can cascade into. It's really funny. Yeah, it uses Throws of Chaos and no 0 mana spell, because you Throws of Chaos into the Trickery, and then the Trickery's the Throws of Chaos. It's hilarious. Yeah, you can play it forever from your graveyard, but there's only 3 Trickeries in your deck, so you can only do it 3 times. How does it win? You Trickery into a big spell. You Throws of Chaos into the Trickery, and then the Trickery turns your Throws of Chaos into, you know, Ugin or Magma Opus or Ulamog or whatever. Just like the Trickery decks have always done. Chat, the people saying you should play that deck a bunch to get it banned. That deck's not very good, and it's definitely not getting banned. That's one of the many decks in Magic that'll be frustrating when it pops off against you, but ultimately it's going to stick around because it's just not competitive. Solidly meme tier, even if it'll frustrate you on occasion. Restoration Angel having a 4th point of toughness is so good. Is Wall of Omens legal in this format, or is it only Wall of Blossoms? Speaking of historic Neoform of has anybody worked on Neoform Affinity? Because that's on my to break list as well. I wouldn't mind giving that a try. Teamer or Bant? I don't know. Instant. I'm really glad they fucking banned Time Warp. Time Warp was definitely the problem. We can still tap them with Giant Killer. Please, dear Twitch chat, enlighten me to how I tap them with my -1/0 statted Giant Killer. Your brain is probably bigger than mine. Please enlighten me to how this works. I would love to know. It's chopped down an instant. It is, yes. Works in paper. That reminds me of one of my favorite paper stories. I was playing a deck with Thalia, and my opponent had a humility in play, and we both just kept paying 1 extra mana for our non-creature spells because neither of us would realize that like Thalia was turned off because there was a humility in play. We finished the match, and after the game, a spectator was like, "Why were you guys still paying mana for the Thalia?" And it was just like, "Well, because it was Thalia." Thanks for the 20 months, Blightnin. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Need transmogrifying wand, something like that. Well, there aren't any 6 mana affinity cards, right? So there's 2 7 mana affinity cards. So you would turn Thought Monitor or Mirror Enforcer into your choice of a 8 mana card. Is the idea behind Neoform Affinity. Sidetrack. Thank you for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Okay. I agree, Jeroff. I had a lot of hope when Wizards was very quick to ban Thassa's Oracle, and that hope quickly vanished after how they've managed the format since. That would be perfect, Astalia. I'm probably not going to have a chance to play it till later this week anyways, so tonight is great. So, like, doing this now plays into a counter spell, but doing it now is better with, Soulherder. I had hope in the past, I called it Pioneer. Oh, Pioneer. Oh, Pioneer. I'm looking at crafting this. I've been whelmed by both Soulherder and company in this set. I don't have a great baseline to compare it to, but I'm looking forward to trying out, they probably have company of their own here. No? I'm looking forward to trying out a straight green-white build of this in the future. So I'm shocking this land in, because I'm going to blink this Innkeeper, which gives me a treasure for Collected Company. Yeah, Collected Company in general is definitely a safe craft. I just don't know that I'm a fan of it in this particular shell. A rival LGS nearby. All right, 1 Skyclave Apparition, please. Man, that's unfortunate. I guess we'll exile this, so that way we pump the Soulherders. What does the Resolve All button do, chat? What does the Resolve All button do, chat? It clearly doesn't resolve all the triggers. I have... The button says Resolve All. So if the Resolve All button is going to stop working when I have a stop, get rid of it when I have a stop. So So like I accept that they want the stop to overwrite it, but then the interface needs to communicate that clearly, right? So chat is definitely correct that it's because I had the button pressed. That, oh my gosh, they have Island Walk. I was like, oh, why can't I block Island Walk? Got it. Okay. Okay, so am I scrying 2 with this? I think I'm scrying 2 with this. I need a live draw here, huh? Does Ephemerate count as a live draw? No. Itty bitty bugle boy, company B. Come on, we're so deep into my deck right now. Can I just please have a Skyclave Apparition? For the love of God. Memory lapse. I think I was casting a spell, but I don't recall. Does anybody remember? Keep forgetting where I put that thing. There's a spell here somewhere. Yeah, the ward didn't matter, chat. You Skyclave Apparition the thing with ward first, then you blink it and Skyclave Apparition the Island Walk Dorko. So the ward was relevant. Need to rage cut all the eyelids. There needs to be a card called Judgment Lapse that's Day of Judgment, but it puts all the cards on top. I tap-baited and open with Aether Spouts in my deck once upon a time. Back in the paper boomer days of yore. Me and Aether Spouts, chat. It's like the OG Settle the Wreckage. Hakuna Matoni. What a wonderful name. Thanks for following this stream. My singing suffering. Do 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 do. Hakuna Matoni. Hakuna Matoni. Listen, chat, I can't just pass up a username like that. What do you expect me to do? Not sing Hakuna Matoni? You must be new here. Alright, so I could Innkeeper, burn the treasures, play Militia Bugler, and get some extra life going. I think that's probably the play. I don't need to really ramp up into anything, and buffering my life total has a lot of value in a matchup like this. I think I'm not convinced that Soulherder is playable, and Thas is bad Soulherder. Yeah, also just now and forever the card rec command. Thanks for the follow, Wendy, guys. Wow, turned Miro Reacher into a land. Hand must be pretty stacked. Just more Reachery. Fair. Yeah, Bugler. Bugler has let us look at the bottom 4 cards of our deck quite frequently in this set. A card we need for Soulherder to be playable. The type of mid-range value that Soulherder generates, I just don't think is very good in Historic. I've talked about this quite frequently on stream, where Historic is good decks in Historic are extremes. You are either a linear combo or aggro deck, or you are a very controlling deck. And kind of waffling in the middle has not been a great place to be, typically speaking. All right, and we can't attack here because if they find 2 lords, they just eat our boys. So Bugler doing its best Augur of Bolas impersonation. Yep. Yeah. Ephemerate's a very powerful card. The fact that Ephemerate lets you counter removal spells for 1 mana is super strong. This is the part where the Regeries just pump up the jam. Yep. Again, look at the opponent's deck. Linear, aggressive deck, little bit of disruption. I think Merfolk's genuinely good. We played Merfolk on stream the other day. There's a video up on the website, the YouTube channel. Feels super powerful. I gain 6 with one of these. Take the rest. Yeah, like I can cast the spell here, but like there's a good chance we just get memory lapse, right? Yep, yeah, Mistcallers, counter spells. Their deck has a lot of play against, yep. So, I'm gonna go ahead and be done with this variation. We're definitely gonna play more Restoration Angel decks on stream at some point this week. I don't know that we're gonna play more Soulherder necessarily. Let's get to the deck so we can do a concise wrap up with it on screen, but the type of, like, mopey, dirtily mid-range deck that this is just doesn't line up well into, like, what this format wants to be doing. Like, Soulherder just isn't very good against the Jeskai decks. It requires you to have a board. If you have a board, you probably don't need this. And this serve a lot of those same roles while being more flexible and allowing you to counter removal spell and control your timing more often. So, yeah, this one felt like a bit of a miss for me overall. Glasspool Mimic was gas, though. I think the sweetest thing about this deck was definitely getting to, like, Glasspool Mimic, Wall of Blossoms, or something else, and, like, Resto the Mimic, copy the Resto something else. So that was good on more than one occasion, at least. So that might be something worth exploring in other places, even if this isn't good. Maybe we want a Glasspool plus Resto somewhere else. All right. We got another sweet one for the last